Hello and welcome to part 10 of my Japanese for Beginners series. By the end of this video, you will understand how to learn. You will understand how to learn. By the end of this video, you will be able to use particle mo in some sentences. If you've been following this series, you may be wondering, wait, where did part 9 go? Truth is, I did part 9 a few months ago before I even decided to do this series. It covers the ko, so, a, do words. Check out that video if you haven't seen it already, and then come back here because some of the model sentences I'm going to be using in this video will cover some ko, so, a, do words, and don't want you to be lost. But if you have seen that, carry on, continue. In this lesson, we're going to look at particle mo, which corresponds with page 65 of Genki, Volume 1 textbook, but even if you don't have the textbook, this video will make perfect sense. では始めましょう. So, particle mo, simply put, it means also or to, T-O-O, to, not T-O or T-W-O, but T-O-O, so also. And there are a few different ways of using it, but for the purposes of this video, we're only going to be looking at the to also structure as seen in an x wa y des sort of sentence. So let's revisit the x wa y des sentence structure. 月のうさぎはセーラー戦士です. So that means うさぎ月の is a sailor soldier. 木の誠もセーラー戦士です. That means Makoto Kino is also a sailor soldier. Or Kino Makoto is a sailor soldier too. So note where the mo is in this sentence. If we're speaking English, we could say Makoto Kino is also a sailor soldier. Or we could say Makoto Kino is too a sailor soldier. Or you could say Makoto Kino is a sailor soldier too. But in Japanese, you can't put the mo at the end of the sentence in this structure. Like you couldn't say Kino Makoto wa seira senshi desu mo. Or seira senshi mo desu. It doesn't make grammatical sense. So basically, you're replacing the wa particle with mo. You can, however, have a hanging mo at the end of a sentence if it is structured this way. Person A says, 月のうさぎはセーラー戦士です. And then person B says, 木の誠も. Or even 木の誠もです. We're basically removing the y in this equation. We're just saying, oh, so is Makoto Kino. Makoto Kino is too. That kind of thing. Then you can have a hanging mo at the end of the sentence. So a really, really useful way that you can use mo, and it's a hanging mo as well, is the phrase 私も means me too. So something you can use a lot in conversation with someone when someone's like, oh, I like this, I like this. You can say, ah, 私も, yeah, me too. So here's an example. Person A says, 僕は大学3年生です. I am in my third year of college. And then person B says, 私も, me too. So let's backtrack a little bit. I did a number on videos. I did a video on numbers. I'm not drunk, I swear. I did a video on numbers a few videos ago. So san, I mean, most people know that san is 3. Nensei is like a suffix that means year in school. So san nensei means a third year student. So 大学3年生 means a third year college student. So if you were a textbook, you might say, 私も大学3年生です. But it's like, who talks like that? So 私も is a cleaner, faster, easier way of saying it. So it's a win-win. In this exchange, person A says, 君は可愛いです. And person B says, あなたも. So it doesn't have to be 私も. It can be あなたも, you too. So person A is saying, you're pretty, and person B is saying, you too, you are also pretty. So here are some model sentences that use mo. 私も留学生です. I am also an exchange student. 私も眠いです. I am also sleepy, or I am sleepy too. あなたも優しいです. You are also kind. 花の香りも好きです. I also like the scent of flowers. So a quick note of, it's a nuanced sort of thing. You should think of this in particular as the scent of flowers is another thing that I like. It's kind of like you're listing things that you like. So you might start out with something like 香水の香りが好きです. I like the smell of cologne or perfume. And then follow it up with 花 の香りも好きです. I also like the scent or fragrance of flowers. So yes, I did slip in a particle ga that we haven't covered yet. It's okay, don't worry. Just think of it as wa for the purposes of this video. お母さんの弁当も美味しいです. So mom's lunch is also delicious. And this could be in response to something like 私の弁当は美味しいです. Like my lunch is delicious, or something like お母さんの唐揚げは美味しいです. My mom's fried chicken is delicious. Or even something simple like いちごは美味しいです. Strawberries are delicious. So you can change anything that comes before wa in this sentence, basically, because the important thing is that you're listing things that are delicious and things that are also delicious. But the delicious part is like the constant. お父さんも空手の先生です. My father is a karate teacher too. 彼もアニメオタクです. He is also an anime otaku. 彼女も世界の冒険者です. She is also a world adventurer. あの人の恋人も美人です. Their sweetheart is also a beauty. So I chose this sentence as an example for its lovely gender ambiguity. あの人 is a gender-neutral singular or plural pronoun. Usually singular in this case. If you wanted to specify that it's plural, there it would be あの人たち. So あの人の恋人. So 恋人 is a pretty commonly used word for boyfriend or a girlfriend, but it is gender neutral, actually. It means both boyfriend, girlfriend, really means sweetheart. It's like we don't use that word anymore in the English language. I think we should bring it back. I like it. I think it's a really cool word. And then bijin, I mentioned this in my kanji video. Check that out if you haven't already. But I mentioned this in my kanji video. Bijin, it is sort of feminine. It's usually applied to women and girls. But it means beautiful person, literally. It doesn't mean beautiful woman, literally. If you look at the kanji, it means literally beauty and person, beautiful person. So their sweetheart is also beautiful. So in a heteronormative world, this would be translated to his girlfriend is also pretty, but it technically is gender neutral. これもまずいです. This thing is also gross. そのプーさんのセーターも安いですか? So I'm adding some questions now and some particle no, making the sentences a little longer. So this is like, is that Winnie the Pooh sweater that you, the listener, are holding or talking about also cheap? So again, the video that comes before this one in sequence, kosoado, that will explain the difference between kore and sore and are and dore and all that. あのブーツもオレンジ色です. Those boots over there are also orange in color. Orange. So before we review this lesson, if you want to get a little more out of the series, you can support it on Patreon and vote with your dollars. I have two tiers. One is a $2 a month tier called Genki tier. It's pretty straightforward. You just get a weekly study guide that corresponds with the series, but it goes a little more in depth, and you have a nice visual representation of what you've learned in these videos. And if you want to spend a little more money and get a little more out of it, then you can support it at the $19 a month level, the Juku level. That's a pun. It kind of means 19 and cram school in Japanese. Anyway, at that level, you get the weekly study guide, and you also get 4 worksheets sent to you every single week that you can fill out and then send back to me, and I will grade them. So it's like actually being enrolled in a little class. I already have about 6-7 patrons at these levels, but if I get more, the more I get, the more I will prioritize this particular Japanese for Beginners series. So it's a good way to vote with your dollars. So to review, I'm going to say all of the model sentences one at a time, slowly, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space between each one. And then if you look in the video description and in the pinned comment at the top of the comment section, I'm going to have timestamps for every single phrase that I say. So if you want to practice one phrase over and over and over and over and over again, and pause between each time and give yourself as much time as you need, just click on whichever timestamp you want. And that way you can study at your own pace. 私も留学生です. 私も眠いです. あなたも優しいです. 花の香りも好きです. お母さんのお弁当もおいしいです. お父さんも空手の先生です。彼もアニメオタクです。彼女も世界の冒険者です。あの人の恋人も美人です。これもまずいです。そのプーさんのセーターも安いですか？あのブーツもオレンジ色です。Thanks for watching. In my next video in this series, we're going to cover janai and jaarimasen, so you can say that something is not something else. Again, thank you to all of my lovely patrons for supporting this series and the other videos on this channel. Speaking of other videos on this channel, if you feel like this beginner series is a little too easy for you and you're more at an intermediate level, check out my Learn Japanese by Singing videos and my Watch Sailor Moon Learn Japanese videos. And I'll see you next time for janai. Mata ne!